Good evening, SICW-Wrestling fans. I'm here with promoter Herb Simmons. And Herb, here we are, less than a week away from Saturday, July 20th. The action returns to the East Carondelet Community Center, and it is going to be a night to remember.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm excited. The fans are excited all week again. They have just been texting, calling, saying they can't wait. It seems like it's been forever since we've been back at the East Carondelet Community Center. But 7 days, we're going to be there. Doors open at 6, bell times at 7 for another all-star night of SICW action.
It's a night to remember, definitely. And something that we found that worked really well before the biggest fan fest in the Midwest was to kind of take the Sunday before and walk through the card. Let the fans know what to expect. And you heard that message from the fans loud and clear, so I think that's what we have in store tonight, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. We're going to go over just to kind of give you an idea of what 7 days you'll be seeing at the East Carondelet Community Center, starting off with the title on the line, the SICW title, none other than the champion, the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz, battling former champion, the self-proclaimed king of SICW, King Christopher Hargis, with his manager Travis Cook. And as you said last week, Brian, these two have met in the past, and it's been all-out war. It's always been a battle. They go in there and give it 110%. And like I said, it is going to be a match that will go down in the record book as probably one of the year.
But one of these times you're going to have a match to determine the king. Because we get the King of Chaos. We have the self-proclaimed king. Eventually, we just need to have a king.
Well, and that could very well be. You never know what's going to happen. You know, there's a lot hanging on this match right here. And this all stems from back at the show in Belleville a couple of weeks back, the big fan fest in the Midwest, where they were in a tag match on opposite sides. Ricky Cruz and former champion the Flash Flanagan against Chris Hargis and Damian Cortez. And that's kind of what's led up to this match here, as well as another big match that's going to be on July 20th, where they'll see none other than the former champion Flash Flanagan in action against Damian Cortez, a new member of the TCO, a big individual, is wanting to make a name for himself. As you said last week, I think he's chasing that $1,000 bounty that's out there on the head of Flash Flanagan by Travis Cook to put him out of business.
I've watched a lot of people try and take advantage of that bounty, and nobody's succeeded yet. The closest they've gotten is a couple stitches, and Flash doesn't seem any more worse for the wear. It actually seems like he's using that as energy for the next bout.
Well, I can tell you, I talked to Flash Flanagan again this week, and he is fired up. He is over his limit of putting up with Travis Cook. He's made it very clear that Travis Cook has overstepped his bounds, put his nose in his business, and come July 20th, as I said last week, I'm not sure if this match is the one that Travis Cook's going to want to be at ringside for, because I can tell you from talking to Flash Flanagan, he is coming for war. He's taking no prisoners, and I got a feeling if Travis Cook's out there, he may feel the wrath of Flash Flanagan.
Well, we have seen it recently where the Travis Cook organization has expanded. He added the Iron Man, Ken Casa. Now he's added Damian Cortez. I think he's doing that because he fears that might be what happens, and he's got to have a locker room full of people to come out and protect him.
Well, Flash Flanagan's been around a long time. I mean, this is a guy that's known nationally and internationally. He goes to Puerto Rico on a regular basis. He's been to Japan. He's been all over. So he is no stranger to the rough and tough part of professional wrestling. And you're right, Travis Cook is building that organization, getting these bigger people in there. Like you said, he's got Damian Cortez in there now, along with the icon King Christopher Hargis, the Mongolian monster Telekan. And there's no telling who he's going to continue to add, because he knows sooner or later the likes of the Flash Flanagan is going to get even, and that could be as quickly and as soon as July 20th in East Carondelet.
It's definitely shaping up to be a great night. We saw those 4 wrestlers battle at the biggest fan fest in the Midwest. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in some singles action coming up this Saturday night in East Carondelet. But that's not all. Let's talk about this match. Attila Khan versus Mecha Mercenary. We watched the match, the Extreme Rules match in Belleville between between Attila Khan and Tommy Dreamer. And at the end of that match, Mecha Mercenary came out and got into it with Attila, and it took the whole locker room to separate them two.
Well, and we did know a lot about Mecha Mercenary only through my good friend Charlie Hartman from Gimmick Tree Entertainment, who co-sponsored that biggest fan fest in the Midwest with us. And he told me he was a force to be reckoned with, close to 7 foot tall, he says, about 404 pounds. And when he charged that ring to come in and save Tommy Dreamer there at the end, after Attila had put him through a table and they used the trash can and I think everything but the kitchen sink, the locker room had to be emptied out to get them two monsters apart. So I thought it was only fitting. We thought Tommy Dreamer was going to be the answer to who could stop the Mongolian monster. He came up short. It was a hard-fought battle. But the fans are telling me this week they hope that this big guy, the Mecha Mercenary, is the guy who can put Attila Khan in his place.
Well, I'm hoping that's the case, but I'm starting to grow impatient as the weeks and months pass and watch Attila Khan just take out everybody in his path. He is proving that he is a man to be reckoned with.
Without a doubt. And, of course, when you have Travis Cook there giving him the directions and the instructions, it's always double trouble for those opponents. And we've seen him, as you said, he's taking out 1, 2, 3, 4 men at a time. But we'll see what he can do against the Mecha Mercenary.
Well, you talk about Travis Cook and managers. A new manager coming to SICW, making quite a name for himself here lately, and that's Christopher Love. He kind of came out and made a fool of himself back in Belleville on June 27th when you had announced that you planned on retiring at the end of the year, and he just made an absolute fool out of himself. And now he's going to bring a wrestler up here and try and show you how it's done in SICW. And you've placed his wrestler, Jake Law, in this battle against the SICW ambassador, Sean Vincent. Tell us about that.
It's going to be a great match. You're right. Christopher Love showed up at the biggest fan fest in the Midwest. Him and I have been friends for a long, long time, and we've worked together, exchanged ideas, did favors for one another, and Tony Costa, my good friend from South Broadway Athletic Club, was there that night. When I made my announcement, Tony was not happy because I had not told him about it yet. But, he's like you. Whatever I decide to do, he's going to support me on it. Tony has been around a long, long time, and he's going to continue to be around. I think he is the ever-ready bunny. And I thought Christopher Love, Bert Prentice, as he goes by, also was a friend. But, as I said last week, there are friends and then there are true friends. And the Tony Costas of the world are the true friends. And I found out now the Christopher Loves are the wannabe friends. I had his nephew booked. He'd been with us before. He's been in. The fans seem to like him, a young, high-flying wrestler. And then I get this poster last week, with Christopher Love and his nephew Jake Law on there. So Sean Vincent is going to be on the opposite side of that ring, and of course the Canadian hero, the ambassador for SICW, is going to be prepared to show Christopher Love that's the fans and the great talent that we have in our locker room is what's made SICW, not the Christopher Loves of the world.
No, they're not going to show much love to Christopher Love, I don't think. As I mentioned last week on the show, I don't think the fans are very happy with some of the shenanigans that he pulled up there, some of his antics he's been doing on social media the past couple of weeks. He's got a rude awakening when he walks into that East Carondelet Community Center and starts hearing that chant of Herb, Herb, Herb. I don't think it's going to be Christopher Love, Christopher Love. They might just send him back to Tennessee where he came from.
Well, if he would call me today and say he wasn't coming, it wouldn't hurt my feelings any at all. But he does have an agreement to be here, and if he comes, his nephew Jake Law, because that's going to be a great match between him and the Canadian hero Sean Vincent, without a doubt. It always concerns me when the likes of a manager is on the outside. You got to have eyes in the front and back of your head to watch those guys. If he's anything like Travis Cook.
Absolutely. Well, these are the 4 matches we talked about last week. Let's dig a little deeper into the card so we can see what's happening this coming Saturday night. In addition to these 4, you've got some other great matches. Another one, we've talked about this wrestler here recently joining the Travis Cook organization, and that's Iron Man Ken Casa. And he'll be squaring it off with none other than Keith Smith Jr.
Well, it's a very sad thing. Iron Man Ken Casa, former SICW champion, going back to the dark side, as they say, to the Travis Cook organization. Very disappointing to me, and I'm sure to a lot of the fans. But it is what it is, and so we'll see what comes out of it. But yeah, third-generation family, Keith Smith Jr., up-and-coming, great piece of talent. His grandfather and I shared the broadcast booth at South Broadway Athletic Club for many, many years. I watched his grandfather wrestle. I watched him referee some of the best, biggest matches in St. Louis, Bruiser Brody against Ric Flair. Grandfather, one of the all-time greats, Eddie Smith. And, of course, his father, Keith Smith, just great guy, great wrestler, been around a long, long time. Part of the Herb Simmons family, as I like to tell everybody, the Smith family. But Keith Smith Jr. Has got to come with his A game because the Iron Man Ken Casa, they don't call him the Iron Man for nothing. And now that he's went back to the dark side, there's no telling what he'll be capable of doing.
Yeah, Iron Man was a great professional wrestler prior to joining the Travis Cook organization. So unfortunately for his opponent, I think that just adds a little more fuel to this match. On top of Casa's great performance, now you've got to deal with the shenanigans and antics of Travis Cook.
Exactly. So we'll see. It's Saturday night, July 20th, 7 days from today.
Now let's talk about this match here. Here's somebody that's been moving up and moving through the talent in SICW, and that's the high-flying Billy McNeil. And as we talk about managers, here he is taking on Curtis Wild with his manager, Wildfire, who's normally at ringside causing problems.
Well, Billy, no secret, Billy McNeil, high flyer, been around a long time in the professional wrestling business. We saw him get a win over Mountain Man Jake Prater up the Belclair Fairgrounds, a hard-fought battle. Billy McNeil gave up a lot of weight there in that match, but what he lacked in weight, he made up in the speed, and it was real close for the Mountain Man Jake Prater. But Billy McNeil came off of that rope I don't know how many times when I watched the footage of it, and was able to secure the 1-2-3. So, yeah, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Of course, Curtis Wild is on a mission. He says that, the Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup was stolen from him by Night Train Gary Jackson. He says
it was stolen from him in a victory.
He says that he is being forgot about when it comes to getting his title shots. So on Saturday night, 7 days from today, July 20th, he gets a shot at Billy McNeil. And, of course, as you said, Wildfire will probably more than likely be at ringside. And she's always somebody you got to keep an eye on also.
Absolutely. So now let's talk about a tag match you've signed for that night in the popular Guerrilla Warfare, taking on the up-and-coming tag team of Gary Jackson and Gil Rogers.
Well, this is going to be for the Multi-State Tag Team Championships. Guerrilla Warfare, Big Texan and Waco hold those multi-state tag team titles, and they're going to be going against the popular team of Gil Rogers and the Night Train, Gary Jackson. And I'm really looking forward to this one because the Big Texan, a big brute of a guy, and Waco have been tag teaming for a long, long time. And when you look at these guys, they've got all the experience as a tag team where Gil Rogers and the Night Train just recently began tagging together. So we'll see if they can continue to gel together as well as the Texan and Waco can.
Well, it wasn't just a few months ago that Gary and Gil were actually battling each other in singles competition.
Yes. So again, they've teamed up together because the multi-state tag team titles is something to go after because they can defend them down at New Breed Wrestling in Southern Missouri or over at South Broadway Athletic Club or out down in Tennessee. So it's something that everybody is wanting to chase, and so I think that's kind of why they teamed up there together. And plus, July 20th, if everything goes okay, we're going to be announcing our own SICW tag team titles. Belts will be on the line eventually in the near future, to where not only will the multi-state tag titles be defended, but we will also be having our own SICW tag titles.
Well, it looks to be a night to remember. And when we talk about tag matches, also in action that night are the Professionals, another great tag team from the area here.
Well, and there are tag teams, and then there are tag teams. And when you have the likes of the Professionals, these guys thrive on being tag teams. They will work in singles matches, but if they have their druthers, they'd rather be together. Now, whether that's because they can cheat more or break the rules more, I'm not sure. But they've been together a long, long time, and they are on a mission to get those multi-state tag team titles. And I'm sure once the SICW tag titles get announced, I'm sure there's going to be more teams come together. But teams like the Professionals that have worked together for many, many years are going to have an advantage, kind of like Waco and
Absolutely.
the Big Texan.
They spend more of their time in tag matches than they do wrestling solo.
Yes, they do.
So that's just what's to come this coming up Saturday night. As you mentioned, doors open at 6, bell times at 7. July 20th is proving to be another great night of wrestling entertainment at the East Carondelet Community Center.
Well, we're here in July, and everybody knows the temperatures have heated up outside. We're getting those 90-plus days.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting hot, but the air conditioning will be working overtime on July 20th, just 7 days from today. But that action inside that ring, the SICW ring, will be hot, it will be fast, and it's going to be furious. Just with the lineup that we just went through here tonight, the card top to bottom is just stacked, and that's what I think separates SICW along with the likes of the MMWA and New Breed Wrestling. When we talk about we're bringing the fans what they want to see, we do that. And it's going to be great. Tony Costa will be over at the show on July 20th, and hopefully Scott Z from New Breed Wrestling can make it up. It shows unity between our three organizations working together,
Yes,
kind of back like the old territory days back in the NWA, when they used to have territories all over the country. And so right now we work real close with those two organizations, and at least through the end of 2019, we're going to continue to do that.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about bringing the fans what they want to see. One of those things they like to see and they like when you bring in is those wrestling legends. Just recently, you brought in the Road Warrior Animal, WWE legend Val Venus, the Cowboy Bob Orton, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, Baron Von Raschke, Tommy Dreamer. The list goes on and on. And as we talked last week, that's going to continue with September 7th when you're bringing in the likes of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Well, as we said last week, we have some of the best, if not the best, locker room in the independent professional wrestling market. When you look at the Ricky Cruzes, the Flash Flanagans, the Sean Vincents, the Big Texan, Waco, Iron Man, Ken Casa, and the list goes on and on and on. And then, when you bring in these legends, it just adds to the card. A lot of people only got to see the legends like $1 Million Man or Cowboy Bob Orton, who runs our Ace Wrestling Academy on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. So maybe they only got to see them on television. But at least this way here, when we bring them in at SICW, the fans are able to get out, sit and talk with them, get autographs from them, get pictures with them. And that means a lot to the fans. So you're right. On September the 7th, and of course I knew Ted DiBiase before he was $1 Million Man back when he first came to St. Louis, some of the greatest matches of all time. He'll be in Cahokia, Illinois at the Holy Family Gymnasium as we do a fundraiser for the Holy Family Church.
Well, you talked about you knew him back in those days of wrestling at the Chase. Let's take a listen to an audio clip here where he talks about what it was like to work for the great promoter that you remember, Sam Muchnick.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
What did you think of Sam Muchnick?
Sam Muchnick was great. Sam liked me, and Sam was a good payoff guy. He liked me. He gave me a break. I mean, the first major main event of my life was with Harley at the Kiel Auditorium, and that was because of Sam Mushnick. So, he was one of those guys who gave me a break early on.
Nice man. I met him a few times. I got to do one show in the Kiel in my career, which I thought was really, really cool. Just unfortunately, it was the Black Scorpion gimmick created by my next subject for you to respond to, Ole Anderson.
Ole Anderson, boy, I tell you what, it's kind of like Ole and I actually got along. I know, Stan and Ole were pretty good friends. But by the time I got to Atlanta, I don't know if Ole was just tired and worn out and didn't care, but it just didn't seem to be there anymore. But I didn't have, I heard horror stories about, people with, working for Ole but he was honest with me. Everything he told me that I was going to do, I did. And, I like the guy.
When I got around him, he reminded me a little bit of Bill.
Yeah.
Some aspects of his personality, which won't make either one of them happy if they hear this. But they both are men's men.
Right.
They cut to the chase.
Yep.
They tell you what time it was instead of how to make the watch, and I kind of like that.
Yep.
Bob Geigel.
Bob Geigel. I've known Bob Geigel since I was a little boy, and I liked Bob. Bob was one of the guys who, back in the NWA days, he was like the president of the NWA, and he was one of those few guys that were pulling for me, and I got, as far as the world champion, the NWA World Championship thing, he was one of the guys that gave me a vote, and I worked for him for a short time in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked Bob. He and my dad were good friends.
Yeah, I could see that. Bob was an Iowa, amateur, and
Right.
and your dad at Nebraska. I can see that cross pollination there.
Yep.
Paul Bosch.
Paul Bosch, again, he's one of those guys. Of course, you and I both know that as a rule, promoters, don't have great reputations, but Paul Bosch did.
Mm-hmm.
He was known to be a very good payoff guy, and I found that to be true.
Yeah, Teddy, the thing that people don't understand when they hear you talk about, or me or anybody else talk about, this guy was a good payoff guy. This was in the days, folks, when there were no Ticketmaster. There was hard tickets. In other words, roll tickets. So to get how much was the house tonight? How much did we draw? How many tickets did we sell? What was our gross ticket sales number? You had to take the word of the promoter. It was their word of here's the house was blank. And then out of that, you could kind of roughly account for your payday that night because it was discretionary. And all the promoters had a little different formula. I know that Sam Muchnick used to pay guys down to the penny. If he owed you, if your check was $2,342.17 on his formula, whatever that was, you got $2,017.
Yep.
And Paul was a lot like that as well. I never heard anybody complain about Paul's payoffs. And it was discretionary money, folks. There wasn't a guaranteed deal where, okay, Ted, we sell out tonight, you're going to make exactly $3,500. He had a 3%, normal, most of them went 3% net after taxes. So if the net after taxes was $100,000 and you're in the main event, you made $3,000. 3% of $100,000 is $3,000. That's what you got.
Well, Herb, it was great to hear how much Ted DiBiase was working with Sam Muchnick, how much of a professional promoter that he says he was. And that's kind of the same story we hear the wrestlers say about you and why these legends like to come in.
Well, no doubt about it, Sam Muchnick gets all the accolades from many of the legends that are still with us as being a fair, honest promoter, always doing a good payoff to them, never cheating the boys out of the money. And I was fortunate to meet with Sam on numerous occasions, thanks to our great late friend Larry Matisek. And I've told the story before that Sam always said, your word is your bond, and if you treat the boys right, they'll treat you right. And that is so true. Now, there are some boys out there that no matter what you do, they're never going to be happy, and we try to stay away from them and keep them out of our locker rooms. But the locker room that we have at SICW is the greatest as far as I'm concerned, and I appreciate each and everything they do, like I do all the fans that follow us. So I'm looking forward to getting Ted back in here. Like I said, we've had him in numerous times over the years, and the good people of Cahokia, Illinois, have got a treat coming for him on September the 7th there at the Holy Family Gymnasium. This will be our second year that we went in and helped them raise funds.
Well, definitely going to be a great night, as you see there. Ticket information, call 337-4548, and they'll be glad to get you taken care of, and we hope to see you out there that night. And we've talked about some other matches, but another legend you're bringing in, as we mentioned last week, coming in on November 16th, is the Boogie Woogie Man. And who better than to announce his return than coming out of the Boogie Woogie Man himself?
Exactly. So let's take a listen to who's going to be joining us in East Cronolette in November.
3, 2.
Who must it? This is Handsome Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man, telling people, all my brothers and sisters, I'm heading your way, Illinois. You don't know it, but this boy right here was born, raised in Tennessee, but lived in Hammond, Indiana. Grew up eating cornbread and biscuits 3 times a day. So, hey, I'm a Hoosier. We're right next door, baby. How many people would like to see yours truly start wrestling 1964? 55 years I've been lacing these boots up. I got 1 more year left. Promoter, Herb, Mr. Herb. All you people, all you fans, talk to him. You want to see the Boogie Woogie Man in that square circle right there, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, right there, baby. Tell Mr. Herb. God bless y'all.
Well, Herb, I know it was great when you got to spend some time with him in Tennessee this year, and now you get to bring him in to interact with the SICW fans.
Well, and it's already just the couple of weeks we've been announcing it. The feedback has been positive. Everybody remembers the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, and they're looking forward to seeing him here in November. And, you know, as we go through the next several months, we'll be showing you some more clips of the Boogie Woogie Man in action, the same as with Ted DiBiase and any of the other legends that we're working on. As you well know, we got matches for the special St. Clair Special Emergency Services coming up, Swansea Fire Department's coming up, the Little Devils Wrestling organization in Belleville coming up. So the rest of the year is pretty busy for SICW, and of course we're helping organizations raise funds at their fundraisers, and that's what we've prided ourselves on for 46 years now, and 2019 has been no different. And so we'll be keeping you informed of all those dates. We've had a little trouble with the website, but hopefully we're going to get that worked out and get it updated. And all this information will be on SICW.org as we move forward.
Absolutely. So a great night, kind of to recap, coming up this Saturday night. Doors open at 6, bells at 7 in the East Carondelet Community Center. We've got the championship on the line in the King Christopher Hargis battling SICW champion, the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz. Damian Cortez, part of the new Travis Cook organization, will be taking on Flash Flanagan.
I'm looking at both of those matches. I mean, that's a double main event in any arena, any promotion around would love to have those two matches on a card.
Well, and you talk about a double main event, let's make it a triple main event. The Mongolian monster, Attila Khan, taking on the man from out east, Mecha Mercenary.
When they ask where the beef is, it's going to be right there in the ring with Attila Khan and the Mecha Mercenary next Saturday night.
You'll see Christopher Love make his way back to SICW, bringing Jake Law, as they will come against the ambassador of SICW, Sean Vincent, who will maybe not give them as much of an open welcoming as they want.
Well, and Christopher Love can stay in Tennessee as far as I think the SICW fans are saying. But I'm looking forward to the match between Sean Vincent, the ambassador, Canadian hero, against young Jake Law.
We'll see the likes of a new member of the Travis Cook organization, the Iron Man Ken Casa, taking on 3G, third-generation wrestler Keith Smith Jr.
Well, and Iron Man Ken Casa reunited. He was with the Travis Cook organization before. For whatever reason, I hope to be able to find that out here in the next week, throughout the week, what's going on with the Ironman's thoughts. But yes, 3G, Keith Smith Jr., this is going to be one Keith Smith Jr. third generation family. It's going to be a great match.
We'll see high-flying Billy McNeil take on the Wilds of Curtis Wild and Wildfire. You got to include her in the match because we know she's going to have some part in it.
Well, and Billy McNeil, high flyer, like we said, been around a long time. Crowd favorite anywhere he goes, wherever card he's on with SICW. The fans really love him. A little concerned about this one because here recently we've been noticing that where you see Curtis Wild and Wildfire, the big 444-pound Kowalski is usually nearby. And, Billy McNeil's going to be giving up a little advantage in the weight class there. Of course, Curtis Wild, he'll tell you, he'll do anything he can to get a win. And so we'll see what happens with that match.
Absolutely. Next, we'll see the multi-state tag team titles on the line when Guerrilla Warfare of Waco and the Big Texan go against the new up-and-coming tag team of Gary Jackson and Gil Rogers.
This is going to be a great one. Multi-state tag team titles on the line. The champions, Waco and Big Texan, got everything to lose here. Yeah, they've got those titles. And, of course, as we said, Night Train, Gary Jackson, Gil Rogers, they seem to be gelling together. At least they were in Belleville. And we'll see how they go against Guerrilla Warfare next Saturday night.
And another popular tag team in action that night, the Professionals will be there in action.
Well, the Professionals, again, they, when you look up the definition of tag team, you see the Professionals name right there because these guys thrive on tag team competition. And next Saturday night, whoever they're against in that ring, you can bet it's going to be an all-out war.
Well, Herb, it's been another great night of talking wrestling. I'm really looking forward to the big action this Saturday night at the East Carondelet Community Center. What else is there to tell the fans?
Man, I'll tell you, it's going to be a long week. It seems like fans keep texting and saying, "Man, it seems like we've been away from East Carondelet Community Center forever because we had to cancel the show in June." And but we're going to be there in 7 days. It's going to be great. Like I said, the air conditioning is working. Great concessions. You'll be out of town.
I won't be there, unfortunately, but
you're out searching and seeking.
Hopefully, we're going to get some good fan videos. We talked last week about the great photos and videos the fans take. I hope they're going to capture some of the action so I don't miss too much.
I have all the confidence in the fans. Because, like I said, the greatest fans in the world, as far as I'm concerned, is right here. Wherever SICW goes, those fans that come there and support are great. They send videos, they send pictures. Very, very well a group of individuals. They love professional wrestling like we all do. And so until 7 days from today, we're going to see you at the East Carondelet Community Center. Doors open 6 o'clock. That bell will ring at 7, and the action will be hot and furious.